In order to obtain the best results with a fired heater, key variables from both the process and combustion side of the furnace must be closely monitored.
And the furnace itself must be physically inspected to make sure it's operating properly. This segment of the program will focus on these key operating variables and the related furnace inspections. An important factor in operating a furnace is controlling excess oxygen. There must always be enough oxygen in the firebox to ensure complete combustion. Too much oxygen, however, wastes heat because extra fuel is used to heat the surplus air in the furnace. Excess oxygen is the most important variable affecting furnace operating efficiency. The amount of oxygen in the furnace is monitored by an oxygen analyzer. Most furnaces operate between 1 and 5% excess oxygen, depending on the design of the furnace. The air registers are the main control of air to the furnace. When the furnace is lit, the air registers should be adjusted to allow the proper amount of air to each burner. The air registers on out-of-service burners should be closed to prevent excess air from entering the furnace. Peepholes should also be kept closed to prevent excess air from entering the furnace. Another important variable that must be monitored and controlled is the furnace draft. The draft is controlled by adjusting the stack damper to maintain a slight negative pressure inside the furnace. Measurements are usually taken at 3 points in the furnace to monitor the draft. The indication of draft is a negative pressure reading at each of these points. Process flow rates are another key operating variable. The flow rates through each furnace pass, for example, must be kept balanced to assure even heating of the process fluid and to avoid tube damage due to overheating. The pass inlets and outlets are usually equipped with temperature, pressure, or flow instruments that allow an operator to monitor the situation and keep the passes balanced. Product outlet temperature is the temperature of the process flow as it leaves the furnace. Normally, there is a set temperature or range of temperatures that must be maintained. To change the outlet temperature, you either increase or decrease the amount of fuel going to the burners. When you adjust the fuel rate, however, you must also change the amount of air going to the burners to ensure safe and complete combustion. Some furnaces are equipped with automatic controls to perform these functions. If the furnace is not equipped with these automatic controls, the operator is responsible for controlling the air and fuel flow for combustion. Another variable that tells you a great deal about the operation of your furnace is the stack temperature. The stack temperature indicates the amount of heat that is lost from the furnace. While it's desirable to keep this temperature low, it shouldn't be lower than the condensation point of the flue gases. This is because flue gas condensation can cause corrosion in the stack. A high stack temperature or rapid increase in temperature often indicates a problem in the furnace, such as a leaking tube. Problems in the furnace can sometimes be detected by analyzing the flue gas for oxygen. If the flue gas from the radiant section of the furnace contains excess oxygen, this indicates that too much air is entering through the air registers, wasting heat. Too much excess oxygen at the outlet of the convection section may indicate that air is leaking into this part of the furnace. While it's possible to monitor much of the furnace activity from the control room, it's also necessary to physically inspect the furnace during operation. The header box houses the tube end fittings outside the main case of the furnace. Smoke coming from the header box indicates a tube leak. Another indication of this problem would be smoke rising out of the stack. Never open the doors of a leaking header box while the furnace is in operation because a flash fire could result. Pilots should be lit at all times while the burners are firing, and they should be checked on a routine basis. If a pilot goes out, it should be repaired and relit. Flame patterns should also be inspected on a regular basis. The flame should be bright and clean with no trace of smoke. A properly burning gas flame is blue and compact, while an oil flame tends to be bright yellow. Flame should not touch the tubes. This is called flame impingement. Flame impingement can quickly damage a tube and cause it to rupture. The fire should always be kept as uniform in length and size as possible. Let's look at some other undesirable flame patterns and consider the causes. A long, smoky flame is caused by insufficient combustion air or insufficient atomizing steam. The flame may be shortened by increasing primary or secondary air or by increasing atomizing steam. A thin, fluttery oil flame indicates too much atomizing steam is being used. A reddish, dusty flame with smoke over the bright part of the flame indicates a lack of oxygen for complete combustion. Sparks in the flame could be caused by a dirty burner tip, wet steam, solids in the fuel, water in the fuel, or improper oil atomization. A dazzling white flame indicates too much excess oxygen or too much atomizing steam. Check your fuel pressure, especially when lighting the burners. Too much pressure will cause the flame to lift off the burner. Too little pressure, on the other hand, will cause the flame to blow back into the burner. Erratic flame pattern and a puffing sound from the furnace indicates loss of draft and a serious shortage of oxygen. The flames may start burning out of the heater in cracks where air enters. This is a hazardous situation which can damage the furnace. Puffing and woofing can also be caused by flame instability due to burner damage or by too high a fuel pressure.